All right, looks like we're live. I do have a new collection edition to go through. So they're mostly wheat cents. There is a few silver coins in there as well. Got a roll of gold dollars. I didn't realize when I bought this, but this is an entire roll of Andrew Jackson's. Pretty sure. So maybe there's some uncirculated stuff in there. There's a bunch of other coins to look at. There's some foreigns. There's some Ramada gambling tokens, Ramada Express from 1988. There's all kinds of cool stuff in here. There's some new coins that I haven't seen yet. This is a 2025 Dr. Vera Rubin. Added to the collection. There's some foreign stuff. I believe this is a toonie, Canada $2 coin with Queen Elizabeth. So we'll get into it and we'll look up some of these wheat cents that we have in here as well. So we'll just get started with some of the silver coins. Okay, that's fine. You do you, boo. Here's a 1908 barber quarter. I believe this is a Philadelphia. It's pretty worn out. It's pretty sweet. 1908. We'll go ahead and look up ngccoin.com, see if we can find anything about these. Go to the Variety Plus. Head on over to United States coins, quarters, barber quarters, 1892 to 1916. And we're looking for a 1908 Philly. Doesn't look like there's any Philly errors on NGC coin site. But that's the first one. 1908 Barber Silver Quarter. Oh yeah, pretty worn out. Pretty sweet addition to the collection. There's more silver in here. I got a whole sandwich bag full of coins. Just brought back. Let's see what other silver we got in here. There's a few of them. What a standing Liberty quarter. Unknown date, but this is an S Mint silver quarter. Also pretty worn out. This is the silver quarter that made it to my profile picture. If you guys make it over to there, this is the coin that was in there. What's up, Chew? Welcome in. We're looking at a collection edition. Just pick these up. See if we can. I don't think we're getting a date off this one, guys. Standing Liberty quarter, unknown date, S Mint. Standing Liberty made from 1916 to 1930. See if we get some side light on here. Maybe we can. We can't. Anything. This thing's just smoothed right out. Can you guys have any good guesses on a date on this one? But it is an S Mint. Pretty sweet addition to the collection right there. Silver quarter, baby. Standing Liberty. That's two silver quarters. I know I have a silver diamond here as well. Let's just find it. Here it is. Mercury dime. Silver 1941 mercury dime added to the collection. 1941. So if we go over to the dimes on NGC coin site, mercury dimes 1916 to 1945. And this one's a 41. Philadelphia. We can look for a DDO where we have strong doubling seen in trust. I'm going to zoom way in on this guy. Zoom way in on trust. See if we can see any doubling here. Doubling is very prominent in the examples under the U and under the S and under the T. Unfortunately, I don't see any doubling here. See the image that I see here. Strong doubling under the U and the S and then the T. And a little bit of doubling under the TR. But our example here, 1941, mercury dime added to the collection. I'm not seeing that doubling example. That's all right. There's a handful of foreign coins. We'll zip through those ones real quick. And I think the rest are going to be Wheaties. There is a couple of dollar coins. Some of the Susan B. Anthony dollars. A couple of modern quarters that caught my eye. So we'll go zip through these foreigns real quick. We got this one. This is a gambling token from Nevada. Acceptable only at Ramada Express. I believe this is nickel-plated brass. I don't believe it is magnetic. We can test it out. No magnetic. The 1988 gambling token. $1 gaming token for use by player only. So the limited stuff I found on this one, it's like $3 to $7 value in worn condition. They no longer make these. It looks like it might have used to have a reeded edge of some sort. Pretty cool addition to the collection as well. So we got 3 silvers, 1 dime, 1 standing Liberty quarter, and 1 barber quarter. Here's an old George V, 1 cent from 1932, Canadian cent. So probably the oldest Canadian King George I have now. That's going to be going into the foreign jar. Pretty awesome. We have this guy. It looks like from Peru from 2008. Banco Central de Reserva del Perú. 10 centimos. Nice. I'm going to be doing a longer form video on these, do some research on these, see what kind of value we have. Here's a Queen Elizabeth II, 1996. Canada, $2. I believe this is called a toonie. $2. Still worth $2 today. Still spendable in Canada, I'm pretty sure. Here's a €2 from 2006, so like $2 maybe. Similar to the Canada toonie. This one's a euro. 2 more foreigns, then we'll get on to the wheat cents. Here's a King George VI from Canada, 1944, 5-cent piece. It's an old Canada nickel right there. It's got the flat sides, kind of cool. Last one up, we got the King George V. This also looks like a nickel. Yep, Canada 5 cents from 19 and 32. Awesome. That's all the foreigns we got. Ooh, I missed this one. Another silver quarter, 1963. This one's out of the Denver Mint. Ooh, now we're way zoomed in. What the heck? 1963 silver quarter, baby. See if we can find any varieties of this guy. Quarters, Washington quarters, 1932 to 1998. Obviously, 64 and earlier are all silver. This one's a 63 Denver. 63, there's a type B reverse. This is 63. E and S are clearly separated. Okay, 63 Denver DDO, all lettering in the date. So look for a DDO on this guy. Pretty crisp. Not seeing any DDO on that guy. So there's 3 silver quarters. And you want to know the great thing about wheat cents? Here's the remainder of the coins. And if I take my magnet, see, I got a paper clip already. You just put it around. What do we got here? A couple of non-steelies got stuck in the mix. What do we got? Best way to find steel wheat cents right there by far. Get a good magnet. These are all going to be 43s. There's a 44 in the mix. You have hit some big money for sure. There's what we're looking at, a 43 out of Philadelphia, wheat cent. We're going to go through them all and then look them up. There's another 43 Philadelphia. Steel wheat cent from 43. Here's a Denver 43. These are all going to be steel. Another 43 Denver. 2 Denvers, 2 Phillies, and a San Francisco mint. So we have all 3 mints right there. So we'll start with the Philly 43s and see if there's any errors on these guys. So 43 Philly, double die obverse, double die obverse. 43 bronze, if you find a 43 bronze. So we'll start with the 2 Phillies and then we'll get into the Denvers after that. So 1943. Philadelphia. Double die obverse, doubling on Liberty, and the date. Has extra thickness of the lettering and the numerals. I'll check out Liberty. I don't see anything in that one. Check out that one. So the tail of the 9 would be super fat if this was the double die obverse. I don't see that on either one of those. We can have a DDO VP001 doubling visible below. Letters RTY. Liberty. Below. Okay, so straight below. So we'll get real zoomed in on this. A little better picture. So straight below RTY, you'd see a vertical section where the doubling is that way. Look at the other one. Oh, I don't see that on that one either. So 43 Phillies, no errors on those ones. And we'll look if I can find out where I put the other here there. So Denver, 43 Denver, you can have we have two Denvers, have an RPM. RPM repunched southwest or repunched northeast. We can have a repunch to the northwest, repunched north, repunched northwest, repunched northeast. So just a couple different variations of the Denver mint mark being punched all different areas. We'll check out the other Denver. I don't see a RPM on either one of these. It's all right. We can have the last steel wheat cent we came up with in this new collection edition, 1943 San Francisco. Check this one out. So I got 5 new Steely additions to the collection. So this one, you have a 1943 over 42 San Francisco. All 4 numerals of an underlying date 1942 are partially visible. Minor doubling on Liberty. And that'd be very light to see that. Be a sweet one though. Shed some more light on the situation from a different angle. .43 over 42, that'd be a pretty sweet find. Here's kind of what it looks like. See a very light stamp of a 2 underneath where that 3 is. The 4 has slight doubling. It's on ngccoin.com. Ours, unfortunately, I don't think is that. What's up, buddy? In a little bit, okay? I went through the silver, went through the foreigns, went through the steel Wheaties. I got a couple other modern stuff. So here's a 2025 Philadelphia. This is a quarter I have not had in my collection yet. Dr. Vera Rubin. I know it's 2026 already, and I should have 2026 quarters, but I don't. So this is a new addition to the collection. Just a modern coin. I thought this one was kind of interesting. Just a eyebrow issue on this one. I wanted to put it under the scope just to animate Wong. See if it just looks like damage maybe. Just a scratch. A couple of scratches. Nothing too crazy. We had one of these in Alaska in the collection. I don't know why they saved the Alaska, but good thing they did because we have an extra claw. We have a 6th claw error on this guy, making it worth, I don't know, a couple bucks maybe. Nice addition to the collection. One of them must have heard that you save Wisconsin quarters because they would save this guy. It wasn't a high leaf or a low leaf. No extra leaves on here, but they're like, oh man, gotta save the Wisconsins. So that's what I saved, I'm pretty sure. This one was just a really shiny one I had found. This is the Edith Kanaka Ole quarter from 2023. Super shiny, pretty dang good condition. Just stood out among the rest, so I saved that one. A couple dollar coins, 1979. What's up, buddy? It's done. It's all done? Yeah. Okay, give me a minute, okay? I'll let you know when I'm done, okay? I'll let you know when I'm done. Susan B. Anthony, 1979. It's in pretty dang good condition. We'll look up the dollar coins. Dollars. Presidential Peace Eisenhower. Susan B. Anthony, 1979 to 1999. So you get a 79p narrow rim, 1979p wide rim. The far date, distant from the border, distant from the date. I'd call that pretty distant. And a wide rim where the date is pretty much sitting right on top of the rim. Just 79. Also, narrow rim. It's the more common variety, the 1979. We had one of these guys. I want to get this under the scope too. 2000p Sacagawea gold dollar. Is it the Cheerio dollar? If it is, I owe some people some money. Sacagawea 2000p regular reverse. While most Sacagawea dollars found in Cheerio's promotional packaging were struck with prototype reverse, some instances regular issue coins have been found. Cheerios type promotion, more detailed tail feathers. My tail feathers do not seem to be very detailed. They're extremely rare. It's believed that only 5,500 of these were ever struck, so. We also have a 2000p speared eagle. So we'll look about the breast of the eagle. Let's see a die gouge. Not the speared eagle. It's enough with the dollars. And I got a whole pile of wheat cents here. We're just going to go through some of them here. Don't have time to get to all of them, but we'll go through a bunch. See what we can find. 1941 Philadelphia. Actually, I'm just going to go like this. We can look at them on the scope as well. '41 Philly. We have some old coins in here. 41 Philly. We can have a DDO. So we're going to look at all the lettering on this guy. I find that doubling. Examples are always super strong. Like super off center. Mine, I always find they're always super damaged. Nothing super crazy. Check out this worn out guy. 1919, perhaps? Thing is just slick. 1919 out of Denver. You can barely make it out there. 1919. Nothing on 1919 Denver. How about a 1919 San Francisco? Nope, nothing on 1919s. Also pretty slick. I think it's pretty slick. Just picking them off at random. Here's a 51 out of Denver. All of these are new additions to the collection, courtesy of the parents. Thank you, parents. 51 Denver, D over D. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can have a D over S as well. I don't see RPMs on this guy. You got kind of look into the 9, into the 5, around the mint mark there. Let's see if we have any other. No, just RPMs on that guy. What else we got here? Another 1919. I'm pretty sure I had a stack of these. They must have had a whole bunch of them made. 1919. They made 392 million Philadelphia's, 57 million Denver's, and 139 million San Francisco's in the 1919. So I did have a bunch of them. Here's 1918 Philadelphia. Pretty slick. 1918, pretty mashed up there. 1918 Philly. They made 288 million of these. Nothing in 18 either. Another 1918 Philadelphia. Super slick. Super cool. How about a 1940 out of Philadelphia? Got some pretty darn good detail there. '40 Philly. Not a 40 Philly. 1950 Denver. What we got here? Probably an RPM to look for anyway. '50 Denver, D over D. Just one of them. No, two of them. Repunched east and repunched north. And we have neither one. Another 1918 Philadelphia. We already know there's nothing to look for on this one. There is a bunch of damage. Scratches and smoothness. And you can still look for cuds. Still look for off centers. Different things like that. 54, a little more modern. Pretty good shape. 54. Looks like we have a few RPMs to look for. Duplicate mint marks visible to the north and south of the final impression. I'll have to get a little closer, zoom in on that Denver mint mark there. I don't see any norths or souths. Repunch south, nothing there either. Wheaties. Oh, there's actually some Indians in here too. Some Indian scents. Let's look at those ones. Wheaties and Indians. This is not Indian. That's a wheat scent. Here we go. 1888. Added to the collection. Indian head scent. Zoom back out so we can see the date. 1888. Not quite ready. Just be patient. Looking at the 1888. 1888. So you can have an 8/7. I don't know how you'd have to determine if there's an 8/7 on this one. FS301. Remains of the 7 are visible upper left and lower left of the second 8. Second meaning the last one? Yeah, you have to really get in there and look at that thing. You have to get some side light on it. Maybe we can get some better information. I don't see any remains, but man, the example they have compared to this example, this is their example. Clean, unworn, a little blob at the bottom of the 8. That's what they're trying to showcase here, and we just have a crusty old one. What else can we get? 1888. 88/88. Repunching is visible within the upper loops of the first and second numerals. 8. A vertical line, which may or may not be the remains of 7, is seen within the upper loop of the last 8. Part of errant 1 is also seen projecting from a pearl at Liberty's neck. Somewhere around here. There's like here's a pearl, and there's like a projection right there. I don't know how you see anything on this guy. So much crust and dirt in that one. Then there's another one, 18/18. Numerals 18 are boldly repunched southeast of the first impression. Nope. I'll let you know when I'm done. Oh, wow, looks nice. Good job. I'm not sure how to see that 18 over 18. Then there's an 88 over 88. Repunched north. Yeah, I can't see a whole lot on this one. Thanks for joining us, Muhammad. Here's another Indian head cent added to the collection in 1890. Much cleaner version. You can almost see Liberty there on the headdress. So much easier to see. 1890. Zoom out just a hair here. The front light going. 1890 right there. Indian head cent. 1890. There's all kinds of 1888 ones. If you have 1888s, you got a bunch of stuff to look for. Hopefully it's a pretty clean version of the coin. 1890 TDO. Tripled die obverse. United States of America is tripled toward the edge. You do not see tripling. You'd see like big lumps on the serifs or the feet of the letters. Big old lumps. We don't have the TDO. 1890 MPD. Flag of numeral 1 protrudes from Liberty's neck just above the pearls. There's supposed to be some pearls right here. Just above it, you'd see a little poking out. That's the 1890 MPD. Missed punch date. I don't know. There's another one with the denticles beneath numeral 9 of the date is the top of either a 9 or a 0. Look below the 9 at the denticles. These are the denticles. You see a protrusion of an arc right here. Not see anything there. I wonder if I have one more Indian head cent in here. If that's it. Or if there's 2 or 3. Got one more here. 1902. Big old scratch right across the coin. Got some gunk. It's alright. I don't mind a little gunk on some old coins. 1902. That's an oldie. That's a goodie. 1902. Eye gouge. FS401. Deep gash in the die appears as a raised arrowhead underneath Liberty's eye. Let's check out her eye. Oh, I just have this big old scratch. Big old scratch right across. Don't have the eye gouge in 1902. All right, so we had a Barber quarter, a Standing Liberty, a Mercury dime, a 1963 silver quarter, 3 Indian head cents, 5 1943 steel wheat cents, some other old wheat cents that we went over already. Here's a 1916 Philadelphia Wheatie. '16 Philly. We can have date punctuated. I raised dash appears between the 1 and the 9, looking like a comma. Haha, be cool. Be a cool one. Next up, 1944 Denver. I went through with the magnet earlier. Tried to check if I had any steel non-43s, and I did not. So this 44 Denver, we'll look at NGC coin site, see what we got. 44 Denver DDO. Slight doubling, in God we trust, and the date has thickening of the letters. Tail of the 9 is usually a dead giveaway if you get thickening of the date. There are a bunch of mashed letters. And the age of this darn thing. We have some schmooze built up over Liberty right there. We have a D over D, mint mark repunch to the south. Not seeing any indications of that. Another repunched southwest. Another repunched southeast. I don't think we have any D over Ds. They made a bunch of them. A bunch of them. All right, we got a few minutes left. I'll make it through a few more coins here. And we're going to wrap it up for the day. Just want to do a little introductory video on the new additions to the coin collection. We'll go through a couple more. Ooh, the oldest one yet, 1911. Philadelphia wheat cent. That's an oldie. What have we got in 1911? Philadelphia, nothing. Denver, there's a few D over Ds. A bunch of them, actually, you can look for. Another 44. Not a steel one, doesn't stick to the magnet. 44 out of Philadelphia. Nothing on a 44 Philly. 1915 Denver. That one's in sweet condition. For a 15, holy cow. Denver, huh? Made 22 million of these. $11, $16. Nothing on a 15 Denver, but that thing is in really good shape compared to what I would expect out of a 15 out of Denver. 57 Denver. That's pretty standard shape for 57 Denver at least. Have a double die obverse on Liberty. That 9's all messed up. We have RPMs. That's a Die chip on the 9. Right here. Or if it's just wear. This is just smooth right here. All around our letter. This is smooth. It's RPM. All kinds of RPMs on the 57 Denver. All right, we have a whole bunch of other coins here. Fortunately, we're not going to make it through all of them. Take the entire rest of the day, and I don't have the entire rest of the day. We have smooth coins. 1917. We have more reddish coins, more modern 57, 57, some of these shiny ones. 58. Got a shiny back. I don't know what happened to that. I don't know what happened there. We got other smooth ones from the 20s. 53. All kinds of them. 46. Another 19. This one. Another 1911. There was one in here that I could not read the date at all. Another oldie from 1910. So lots of goodies added to the collection. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll do a long form video on this entire collection as well. And see if we can't figure out if we have any errors or varieties to be had. So thanks for sticking around. And we'll be back another time.